Hey, what's going on, guys? It seems like here lately there's been several people that's been ranking coaches in different conferences for college football. So I thought I would give my 2 cents. So today in this video, I'm going to be ranking the coaches in the ACC going into the 2024 season. And so, as you can see here, we have a list of 1 through 17. And I also have these coaches color coded. And what I mean by that, the coaches that are in green, those are coaches that are safe as far as being on the hot seat. The ones that are in yellow, they're not on the hot seat just yet, but it wouldn't hurt if they started to pick it up a little bit. And then the ones in red, they're in win now mode, which uh, basically means it's bowl game or bust if they want to save their jobs going into the 2025 season. So I'm ranking the coaches from 1 to 17 and also doing their evaluation as to who is on the hot seat going into the season. So we'll start with number 1, and number 1 on my list is Mike Norvell at Florida State. So he's going into his 5th season in Tallahassee. They were 13-1 last year, won the ACC, and they should have gotten into the college football playoff. But I mean, the committee had other irons in the fire, so to speak. But nonetheless, Mike Norvell, he's done a great job of turning Florida State around. And so obviously Mike Norvell, as you can see here, I have him in green, so obviously he is safe as far as his job security goes. And then number 2 on my list is Dabo Swinney at Clemson. So Dabo's going into his 16th season, his 16th full season at Clemson. His record, 170-43. Multiple ACC championships, 2 national titles. Now, people will say Clemson's fallen off. I'm not buying into that. I mean, record-wise, yeah, okay, sure. They went 9-4 last year, and it was actually for the first time since 2010 where they did not have double-digit wins in a season. But people say, well, Dabo, he ain't got it no more. Y'all can just stop with that, okay? Dabo's doing just fine. I mean, maybe if he used the transfer portal a little bit more like he should. I mean, the times are changing. I mean, there's no arguing that, but I mean, Dabo's got nothing to worry about. He's going to be at Clemson for basically as long as he wants to be. Up next at number 3 is Jeff Brom at Louisville. So he returned to his alma mater. He's going into his 2nd season. And Louisville was very good last year. They went 10-4. They made the ACC championship game where they barely lost to Florida State. And so Jeff Brom, he's a great hire for Louisville. Great coach. He done a good job at Purdue when he was there. So obviously Jeff Brom is safe, so I have him at number 3. Number 4 is Dave Doran at NC State, so he'll be going into his 12th season in Raleigh. 81-58 record overall. He's done a very solid job there. In rivalry games, specifically against North Carolina, over the last 3 years now, I think they've beaten the Tar Heels. So Dave Doran, he's done a very good job with the Wolfpack. Number 5 is Dave Clawson. Now, Dave Clawson is a very good coach. Now, he's going into his 11th season with Wake Forest. His overall record there is 63-61. But the reason why I have Dave Clawson as high as I do is that he always seems to do more with less. They did go 4-8 last year. They actually finished dead last in the ACC. But Dave Clawson is a very good coach, and he's certainly right up there among the top coaches in the country, considering it is Wake Forest, and they always seem to do, like I said, they always seem to do more with less. So I have Dave Clawson at number 5. Number 6, I have Rhett Lashley from SMU. Now, SMU, they're in their first year in the ACC. Rhett Lashley is going into his 3rd season with SMU. Now, of course, things are going to be different for SMU as well as Stanford and Cal, but more so for SMU because they're moving up from the Group of 5 to a Power 5 conference, or I guess Power 4 now because the Pac-12 is dead. So things might be a little bit different for him and for SMU, But he's done a good job there. They did win the AAC championship last year, and his overall record is 18-9 with the Mustangs. And so, you know, you could maybe make the argument that Rhett Lashley is a little higher on this list than maybe what he should be. But I think he's done a great job. I think he's done a good coach. But it'll be interesting to see how SMU makes this transition from the group of five to a power conference. All right, so we have our first coach that is in yellow, and that is Pat Narduzzi at Pitt. So Pat Narduzzi, he's going into his 10th season with Pittsburgh. His overall record is 65-50. He does have an ACC championship that they won back in 2021. And last year was abysmal for Pitt. They went 3-9, and there's been some off-the-field issues with Pittsburgh, some social media drama. I'll just leave it at that. But, I mean, he's done a good job at Pitt. Overall, I would say he's done a very good job. But given what happened last year and this social media drama is the reason why I have Pat Narduzzi as a coach that needs to pick it up a little bit, at least get back to a bowl game this upcoming season, or else he could be shown the door. But I have Pat Narduzzi at 7. Number 8 is Brent Key at Georgia Tech. Brent Key is going now into his second full season with Georgia Tech. He took over as an interim midway through the 2022 season when Jeff Collins was fired. And, despite all that, he almost got Georgia Tech to a bowl game that year. And so last year they went 7-6 in his first full season with Georgia Tech and got them to a bowl game, and they won the bowl game. So Brent Key is doing an incredible job at Georgia Tech. I think he's going to get that program turned around, and things look promising so far for the Yellow Jackets. We'll just have to wait and see if he can keep it going. And so moving to number 9, I have Brent Pry at Virginia Tech. Now, Brent Pry is going into his third season with the Hokies. Now, his overall record is 10-14 with Virginia Tech. But last year, especially in the second half of the season, they really turned things around. And a lot of that had to do with the quarterback switching. They switched from Grant Wells to Kyron Drones. And Virginia Tech was basically a whole different team. And so they did make it to a bowl game. They did win the bowl game, I believe. Yeah, they did. So Brent Pry done a very good job of turning that Virginia Tech team around. And so because of that, I have him at number 9. Number 10 is Mack Brown. And so we have our first coach that is in red. And, Mack Brown, his second stint at North Carolina, his record is 38-27 in his second stint. Only one ACC championship game appearance. Now, for any other coach, this would not be concerning. But Mack Brown is an accomplished head coach. In his first stint at North Carolina, he done very well. Then he left to go to Texas. He done very well there as well. Won a national championship with them. And so this year, this stint from Mack Brown has been very disappointing, I think, in my eyes anyway. And I have Mack Brown in the red because it's time to put up or shut up. Because given the experience that you've had and, all the talent that you've got, and yet you can't produce at least 9-10 wins consistently, that's concerning. And plus, your defense has been a major problem for North Carolina. So, yeah, I think Mack Brown, he might be retiring after this year. Who knows? They did get a new defensive coordinator, but it seems like it doesn't matter who the defensive coordinator is. They just can't get it right on the defensive side of the ball. Plus, you lose Drake May to the NFL, so that's just going to make things even tougher for North Carolina this upcoming season. We'll wait and see how things turn out. Number 11, I have Mario Cristobal at Miami. So, just like with Mack Brown, expectations were high when Mario Cristobal was fired at Miami, or when he was hired at Miami, excuse me. So he's going into his third season, and Miami's record under him has been 12-13, and it's been disappointing. He done very well at Oregon. He came back to Miami, to his alma mater, to be their head coach, and Mario Cristobal is known as a good recruiter, but it just seems like he can't put results out on the field. And I have a feeling Miami might be showing might be showing him the door after this season if they don't win at least 8, maybe even 9 games. But we'll see how things turn out. But I have Mario Cristobal at 11. It's just been very disappointing this year. Number 12, I have Manny Diaz at Duke. So obviously, a first-year head coach is not going to be on the hot seat. And plus, it is Duke. I mean, Mike Elko, left Duke to take the A&M job, and he done a very, very good job with Duke's program. And I think overall, I think this is a great hire for Duke. I think Manny Diaz is a good coach. I feel like he got a raw deal at Miami. I thought he was doing a decent job there, but Miami didn't see otherwise. So, we'll see how it turns out. I think he's going to do a good job at Duke. He's a great defensive-minded coach. But I have Manny Diaz at number 12. Number 13 is Bill O'Brien at Boston College. So he's going in his first year with Boston College. And I think this is a good hire as well for BC. So Jeff Hafley, he left Boston College to go to the NFL to be the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. So Bill O'Brien is a good coach. You got to remember when his first head coaching job in college was at Penn State. And considering the situation that Penn State was in at the time, he done a remarkable job. And so that's what led him to getting the head coaching job with the Houston Texans in the NFL. Done a pretty decent job there as well, but last couple of years things really fell off. Plus, he was the offensive coordinator for the Patriots for all those years when Tom Brady was there. And so I think this is a good fit for Boston College. I think it's a good fit for Bill O'Brien. So we'll have to see how things will play out there. But obviously a first-year head coach, again, not going to be on the hot seat. But I have Bill O'Brien at 13. Number 14 is Fran Brown at Syracuse. So I know it may not seem right to rank a first-year head coach or a first-time head coach, let alone. But he was the former DB coach at Georgia, takes the head coaching job at Syracuse. He takes over for Dino Babers. And he's done a pretty good job recruiting, especially in the transfer portal. They brought in Kyle McCord at quarterback from Ohio State. And so things are off to a good start for Fran Brown and company at Syracuse. So we'll have to see if he can carry the momentum into the season. Number 15 is Justin Wilcox at Cal. So for whatever reason, this guy always seems to find a way to save his job. And they made a bowl game last year, and had that not happened, he more than likely does not come back to Cal. So he's in his 8th season at Cal. Of course, this will be Cal's first year in the ACC, but his overall record is 36-43. I mean, how does this guy even have a job? And like I said before, I think it has to do with the fact that they made a bowl game last year. But it's been very underwhelming, so to speak, for Justin Wilcox. And I think if he at very least does not go to a bowl game this year, I think that he will be shown the door. All right, number 16 is Troy Taylor at Stanford. And, Stanford, this is their first year in the ACC, and Troy Taylor is going into his 2nd season with Stanford. Stanford's going to be patient with him, I would think. And they did go 3-9 last year, but last few years for Stanford under David Shaw were just not very good. And so it's going to take a little bit of time. I think 3-9 is an improvement from the previous year for Stanford. So, but Troy Taylor, I mean, we'll see how things turn out. But I have him at number 16. And then rounding out the field at number 17 is Tony Elliott at Virginia. So Tony Elliott is going into his 3rd season at UVA. And expectations were high considering his offensive background, the players that Virginia had returning when he was first hired there, and things have just not worked out. Tony Elliott's record 6-16, and I would not, speaking as a Virginia fan, I mean, if it's not a bowl game, then it's time to go. But just the team just has not been very good at all. So we'll see how things turn out. I hope things get better for for this upcoming season. But I don't know. But 6-16 at any school, that's not very good. And so yeah, I think definitely Tony Elliott is on the hot seat going into the 2024 season. All right, so that is my coaches rankings for the ACC and my hot seat rankings. So let me know, guys, down below in the comments section. What are your rankings for this year's coaches, and who do you think is on the hot seat? Who you think is not on the hot seat? Let me know down below in the comments section, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Catch you next time.